Ask once got a book from his granny for Christmas. It was about disasters. Not only natural disasters, but also man-made disasters like airplane crashes, terrorist attacks, famines, and agricultural disasters. One of the more interesting ones, labeled the biggest man-made disaster in the history of mankind at the time, is not mentioned very often elsewhere. At least, none of us have ever heard of it, and when we talk about it to others, they are also baffled that they didn't know about this. So for sure, that was a pin that we placed on the world map quite early on. And I guess you're wondering, why this huge dam in this Italian valley has no water in it? And why did they even build it there when all we can see behind it is rocks, hills, and trees? We'll get to that later in the video. After spending a few days at the beach, we took the train to Venice Mestre, just inland from the famous Venice you'll see in the next video. And we checked in to another A&O hostel. Same coffee, same rating as in Salzburg, I'm afraid, but the room was really good, and we'll show you in the next video. Venice Mestre is the best starting point to go and visit the dam, but since it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, we had to abandon our Interrail tickets for the day and went to rent a car. Good morning! Okay, we got the key, we got the instructions, we got the key. Let's go find the car. Let's go to Vajont.
Yeah.
But first, let's pick up the girls.
Yeah. Now we're driving towards the hotel. We're hoping to get a good reaction. I think you're gonna like it.
The thing is, we ordered a small car, and if you order a small car and you're fine with that, go for it. Because if you get a small car, you get what you paid for. But if they don't have a small car, you get a better one for the same price as a small one. That's what we got today. Look pretty happy.
Yeah. It's really nice inside. Yes. I got a big.
My wife brought coffee and oh my god.
Really, really nice.
We ordered like a small white one, and this is what we got.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough small cars.
Pretty good.
Which we hoped for.
Exactly. That's a travel hack. I was just telling everybody.
This is like either chocolate or bad.
Okay, let's GPS. After about 1.5 hours of driving from Venice Mestre, we got to the town of Longarone and got the first view of the Vajont Dam with its concrete wall pinned between the sides of the valley. It was quite a magnificent sight. After the Second World War, there was a high demand for electrical power in Europe, especially in Italy, that had a lot of power-demanding industry. As we did with so many valleys and waterfalls in Norway, the Italians also wanted to exploit their valleys and waterfalls, and this narrow gorge seemed perfect for the construction of a dam and a hydroelectric power plant. And so, the construction of one of the tallest dams in the world started in 1957. It is still the 7th tallest, with its 263-meter high concrete wall, only 42 meters lower than the 305-meter high Jinping 1 Dam in China that holds the record today. There were several warnings and signs during construction and filling of the dam that this was not a good idea. There was talk about reports that the side of Mount Tuk to the south of the dam was very unstable, and several reports from the locals of landslides and earthquakes during the filling of the dam were all ignored by the construction company that, of course, wanted the project to succeed. Knowing the story so well, it was a surreal experience to drive up the narrow road through tunnel after tunnel towards the dam. Imagining the scale of the project and its tragic end gave us all a lot to think about. This is the view from the village on the opposite side of Mount Tok, the mountain with the unstable sides. On the 9th of October 1963, at 10:39 in the evening, the entire side of the mountain slid into the water basin behind the dam, creating a huge wave that reached 250 meters over the top of the dam before gushing down the Vajont Gorge towards the town of Langarone and the other villages, completely leveling everything in its path. This picture shows the top 60 to 70 meters of the dam, and the 250 meter wave that came over the top of it would have obscured virtually all of the blue sky in this photo taken from Langarone. The scale of this is almost unimaginable. There were reported around 2,000 people killed in this disaster, but the number are assumed to be at least 2,500, and 350 families lost all of their members. All the roads in the area were washed out, and the first firemen and personnel from the army could only get there to help by 5:30 the next morning. Immediately after the disaster, the government, politicians, and public authorities insisted on attributing the tragedy to an unexpected and unavoidable natural event, even though there were several reports, warnings, and signs before the disaster happened. The debate still goes on today, as many of the victims still think that they have not been given the apologies and redress they feel they deserve after losing their loved ones in this tragedy. What you see right behind me here now is gravel and trees, and yeah, it looks like a big hill, but actually all of this used to be a big lake that was filled up behind that dam over there. That's the Vajont Dam. So this was a lake, and that huge hill comes from what you see in the back there. Came sliding down the hill 400 meters deep, and just a huge mass of gravel and sand crashed down into the lake that created a wave going over the dam. And I heard this woman, she was 12 years old at the time when it happened. I heard her describe it, the sound that she heard at home when it came crashing down. It was like metal shutters that just dun, 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 only a billion times stronger. And the air pressure that was in front of the wave was stronger than what was on the Hiroshima bomb, and that many of the victims that were found dead were actually naked because that air pressure had torn the clothes right off of people's bodies. So this is something really spectacular, and the UN called it at the time the biggest natural disaster created by man ever to happen. After taking all of this in, we really needed to shake it off a bit. And that is just when we met this really cool gang, camping on the top of the landslide. These are mountain people that like to climb in waterfalls and caves, living in their vans, moving from place to place. Check out Mountain Gero on Instagram to see what they're up to. We were able to tell them some stuff about the disaster that they did not know so much about, and in return, they told us that Langarone was the ice cream capital of Italy, and that we for sure had to go down and have some ice cream. After a family selfie, we did just that. And this is when we got a vibe of the real Italian countryside, as the outside of the gelato shop was frequented by young and old alike, all looking to get some sweet gelato before getting on with their day. These friendly exchange students gave us their best recommendations for flavor, and it did not disappoint.
So, Gelato 2.0 in Langarone.
With lightning.
How do you rate this gelato?
Super good.
I rate it even more because it's thundering and it's fun.
Mine was a 10 out of 10. Cheesecake and some other flavor that was really, really
Mine
good.
was 11 out of 10. It's super good.
9.
I had
9 out of 10.
vanilla and
I just saw the lightning.
I think this is the best one I had in my entire life.
this one is mine.
Mom,
10 out of 10, without a question.
10 out of 10.
What if soft ice and gelato was mixed?
There's the guy. You hear that? 10 out of 10.
After ice cream, one usually wants to spend some of that sugar, so after a bit of hopping around and checking out the rest of the town, we went to a small museum where we could learn more about the history of the area and see some more pictures from before and after the disaster in 1963. The more we look at these, the closer we get to understanding it fully, and the crazier it gets that it actually happened. Afterwards, we took another family selfie with the dam in the background and got in the car just in time before it started to rain. The kids are being homeschooled this entire 8-month trip. Taking them around the world, visiting places like this, is actually the main point of this journey. It gives a very different effect than reading about it in a book. Not only the kids, but the whole family. Being there, seeing traces of what happened and talking to people gives a much deeper understanding of what went on, and all the impressions we're left with gives our minds so much more to think and reflect about. That is exactly what we as parents are looking to give our kids while on this journey. Many people ask us if we are not worried about what the kids are going to miss out on being away from school at home. But we are confident that a school day like this will give them long-lasting impressions that will give them benefits to level out whatever they miss at home. And since we are experiencing this as a family, we have so many things to talk about together for the rest of our lives. If you want to know more about this approach to education, you can check out World Schooling on Google, Instagram, or Facebook. Thank you so much for watching our videos. We love doing this and we love sharing what we experience with you. We appreciate any subscribers wanting to support us and follow our journey through Europe and Asia. And we can't wait to show you more in the next one. And that's going to be in Venice, a beautiful city, but also a city full of scammers. And we got a few of them on tape. We'll see you in Venice.
Bravo! No!